Ooh, what is going on, my lovely ladies and gentlemen of the world? We all got hit, not we all, you all got hit with a doozy. I am unsurprised. I was the herald telling you all what was going down beforehand, that Blazblue cross-tag battle was a waste of our time, that it just was going to be a disappointment, and you shouldn't set yourself up for failure because there was nothing good that was going to happen with this game. I've been calling it. But that was all in regard to the gameplay, and you know, that is a somewhat subjective matter. I mean, I feel like there are key elements missing from Blazblue cross-tag battle in regard to how it works that make a good fighting game, and obviously if those elements are missing, then, you know, it's not going to be a good fighting game. But that is beside the point of this discussion, but that is kind of a point that I need to make early. I have no, like, horse in this race. I'm not playing this hand, so I have no money in the pot. I have checked out of Blazblue cross-tag battle long ago, so it's hard for me to muster any sort of emotional response to what is occurring, to what Arc System Works announced. I think it's incredibly stupid. I think that they, like, if this is going to blow up in their faces, at least I hope it will. I should discuss what is actually happening just in case you don't know. So basically, I assume they announced it over a live stream last night. I don't know, they had a live stream, and I saw that it was live, but I didn't watch it because it looked like it was just Blazblue. But basically, they have announced that all the characters that they have released thus far, they've announced thus far, are going to be in the base game. There are no more announcements to make for the base game itself. It's going to be coming out May 31st in Japan, June 15th for the rest of the world. And there are going to be 20 more DLC characters. There are 20 characters in the base game. There's going to be 20 more planned as DLC. Now, the big thing here is, number one, obviously, how much is that going to cost? Because if they try to pawn off 20 DLC characters at the price of their normal DLC, woo, even at the price of like Persona 4 Arena DLC, which if you remember was $5 a character rather than $8, people are going, it's not going to end well. It's not going to end well. But nonetheless, the thing that really got me, like, wasn't necessarily that news, because, like, hey, this is Arc System Works. How many years now have I been harping on the business side of Arc System Works and how it is so ruinous to their games overall? But, they announced a Ruby character called Blake, who, unfortunately, also actually, gameplay-wise, looks like the most interesting Ruby character, is going to be the first DLC character. 4 months before the release of this game, technically 5 if you're not in Japan or if you're not planning on importing, so let's just say 5 months before the release of this game, they have a character trailer. They're showing the character in motion. They're showing that this character has been created, is likely done, and it's going to be DLC. So that's my number one issue with that. My number 2 issue is that they're trying to sell everybody DLC characters of characters that are reused assets. These are not things that are made from the ground up. Now, obviously, there are adjustments that need to be made to put it into the far more limited system of Blazblue cross-tag battle, but you're not creating animations. Every animation that I have seen so far, aside from the Ruby characters, already exists. They're just pulling it from one of their other games and just porting it into cross-tag battle. There's nothing new, and they're trying to charge you for that. They're trying to charge you for that. I don't know, man. And the other thing that really gets me is that now that we know these 20... There's actually 2 things that gets me. It's about the current cast. Now that we know that these 20 characters are it, there's no more for the base game. Anything additional you're going to have to get is DLC. Number 1... the bias toward I mean, I know it's called Blazblue cross-tag battle, but this is a crossover game. When you have a crossover game, it's essentially a celebration of the titles that are present within. Right? So it should actually be a celebration of everything, not just a celebration of one. There are 10 Blazblue characters, 4 Unil, 4 Persona 4 Arena, 2 Ruby characters. That's it. 50% of the characters present are representatives of one of the 4 titles involved in this entire fighting game. You had, I mean, the entire trailer that you announced that got people hype in the first place, that had an entire arena explode in applause. Ruby was a huge part of that. It's now 10% of this game right now, and is likely going to stay at 10% of this game. That's stupid. That's very, very stupid. Even Capcom is intelligent enough when they make a crossover game to have 50% Marvel, 50% Capcom. You don't just be like, hey man, we're just gonna toss all these Blazblue characters at you, especially ones like, let's be honest, I love me some Makoto. If you're thinking of iconic Blazblue characters, Makoto's not really up there. S? The hell is she there for? Are you kidding me? She doesn't deserve to be there. Barely anybody even likes her. I'll be honest, Tager doesn't really belong there. Nobody likes Tager. I don't even like Tager, and I main the dude. Doesn't really belong there. Azrael? Questionable. He was a huge part of Chrono Phantasma, and obviously there are a lot of fans, thanks to, because I think a lot of people that currently play BlazBlue, I shouldn't say I think, I wonder how many people that currently play BlazBlue were introduced to it from EVO, was it 2015? The Dogura versus, oh my god, how am I blanking? Galileo Grand Finals. That was an iconic moment for BlazBlue. That was probably one of the most iconic moments for BlazBlue. And to this day, people still ask, where's Dogura? Dogura's the best Azrael. They still say that. Dogura hasn't been the best Azrael since EVO Finals of 2015. But people still say that because they are so latched on to that moment in time. So, because of that, Azrael's a pretty iconic character, but in terms of the actual series itself, he kind of sucks. He went out like a bitch. It's, regardless, there are plenty of BlazBlue characters present that really, in light of the fact that there's only 20 spots, shouldn't be there over characters that could have been representatives of their other series. Like, I mean, O'Neal, you can pick just about anybody, and I feel like they would fit well into a fighting game, and they deserve more than 4 spots. Persona 4 Arena, you only have Persona 4, and you don't even have the main Persona 4 cast. You're missing Kanji, you're missing Naoto. Like, what are you doing with these ideas where you think S is better than either of those characters? You don't have a representative of the Velvet Room. I actually thought for a moment, like, how badass would it be to finally get Igor as a representative? Like, how clever could you get with Igor? The sky's the limit with this character in a fighting game. And then I thought, oh wait, but it's BlazBlue cross tag battle, and he'll just wind up having 3 normals and 1 special move. So let's just not hope for that. But regardless of that, and you have the entire Persona 3 library. Could you imagine? I mean, I know that the likelihood of this is just basically impossible, because they seem to be trying to put in the absolute least amount of effort required to turn a profit on this game. But could you imagine if they put a Persona 5 character in this game? Could you imagine for one moment how much hype that would bring to it? But they're obviously not going to, because that would require creating another character. They're already pushed to their limits, creating 2, 3, maybe 4 Ruby characters. As far as I'm aware, there are like 4 main Ruby characters. I don't know, I haven't watched the anime, I'm not interested in it. But that's what I'm aware of, from what I've seen from other people, that there are 4 characters. I don't know, man. All that I can really say about this is that I really truly hope that this puts a stamp on, like, your ideas of what proper conduct should be for a game developer, and that you shouldn't support this. You shouldn't allow them to get away with it. Because this kind of blew up a little bit for Dragon Ball FighterZ like a month or 2 ago, right? When they announced that there was going to be a season pass, there was going to be 8 DLC characters. Now here's the thing. It was a very poor decision on their part to just announce that there's going to be a season pass and there's going to be 8 characters on it, but not actually give any information. I feel like they saw this happening with Street Fighter V with their whole seasons, and they basically just say, like, we're gonna have X amount of characters, here are some silhouettes of those characters that are very difficult to actually guess, and we're like, hey man, that seems to be working okay for them, so let's just do the same thing. It's gonna be a mystery, they're gonna be excited because there's gonna be more characters coming to Dragon Ball FighterZ. But they forgot that slowly but surely, inexorably, gamers are getting less and are getting more and more fed up with DLC. And the more it feels like a slap in the face, the more it's getting treated like a slap in the face. Now, unfortunately, they forget about it within like 2 days. It just blows up on Reddit for, you know, like a minute, and then people forget about it. I don't know why. It would be very beneficial to gaming as a whole if gamers would learn to stick to their grudges. Because it's just, I mean, out of all the communities I have seen in the world, gamers seem to be the ones who just are willing to accept getting backhanded over and over and over, and they'll complain about it for a little bit, and they'll just go straight back to it. Now, to be honest, I'm somewhat representative of this. How many hours, combined hours, have I spent complaining about Tager, hating my life that involves Tager, and yet I keep playing the motherfucker? I'm part of the problem. But from the business side of things, you best believe I'm gonna put my foot down. Now again, it's kind of it doesn't really matter that I'm saying this in regard to Blazblue Cross Tag Battle, because I already wasn't gonna buy that game. That game was already off my radar. I didn't care. There's too many amazing fighting games out in the world right now, coming out in the world later, to sweat one bad one that's coming out that may involve other fighting game properties that I have cared about in the past. So be it. Like, there's no big issue there if I have to skip out on one of them, because there's so many other ones to spend my time on that deserve to have time spent on them. But I really hope this blows up in their face, and I say that completely without malice. I'm not saying that in the sense that, like, I hope Arc System Works fails, and, you know, they crash and burn to the ground. I hope that this fails so that they wake up and understand, like, if you want to make something as a celebration of your properties, celebrate it. Give the fans something to celebrate about. Don't put in 20 goddamn DLC characters, 100% of the additional cast on top of it. And now the big thing here, the big test that I feel is going to happen, really, is finding out how many hypocrites exist in anime fighting games, which honestly is going to be a ton. There's going to be a metric ton of hypocrites in regard to this whole thing, because for whatever reason, people feel this really strange desire to shit on other things that, like, if they don't play it and it seems to be in competition with something that they do, they feel the need not to try and hype up their own game, to, you know, espouse the virtues. Why is your game great, right? Explain that to me. Why is your game great? No, they don't do that. They go off and they try to tell other people why the other games are bad. That's what you need to do, right? Because, hey man, you're making all the other games look bad, thus this one looks better by contrast. It never does. If you bring into, like, if you're sitting there and you're hating on something, and you kind of, like, you're comparing it to something else at the same time, it makes me hate that something else. It makes me not want to, it makes me actively want to just kind of troll you back and, you know, shit on whatever you're trying to talk about, right? Like, that's where my mentality goes with all that. Even if I don't particularly have anything against whatever it is, it just, I hate when people do that. So, I wonder how many people that are the anime fighting game fans, where unfortunately there is a lot of time spent shitting on Capcom, calling them Crapcom, calling them Cashcom, you know, whatever your little nickname for it is. There's a lot of that floats around in, you know, the NRS communities and the anime communities. How many people are gonna step up and be like, yo, we've spent years now talking about how much DLC is in Street Fighter V, how it's not okay, how they're, you know, overcharging for skins, blah, 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 whatever. How many of them are going to now step up and say, yo, this isn't okay, I'm not supporting this game, I want to, I enjoy the game, I want to love it, I want it to be a part of my life, I want to learn it, I want this to be a successful fighting game that's, you know, on the Evo main stage, that really is, you know, highlighting the beauty of anime fighting games. And instead now, even if it is a good game, we have to go up and be like, I mean, you know, I enjoy this game, and you should totally buy it, but just, you know, be aware that when you are buying it, you're getting like 50% of the game, and you're gonna have to spend a lot more money over time if you want to get 100% of the game. Have fun? That's not okay. And so I really hope, like I said, I really hope that people put their foot down just as a way to send a message, because that's the only message that matters, unfortunately. It doesn't, Arc System Works doesn't care if you create a Reddit thread that has 5 million upvotes that says Arc System Works sucks, their DLC sucks and I'm not gonna buy it, if the game winds up turning a profit anyway. They don't care. It will not matter. What you say will not matter if the game turns a profit anyway. And that's the only... So it is, again, unfortunate that the only way that we can really win in this regard is for Blazblue Cross Tag Battle to fail, so that hopefully they get the message that this isn't okay. Now, here's the big issue. Was it Atlas that said this? I can't remember who said it, but there was some sense of, yeah, we hear you. We know you want another Persona arena, maybe a Persona 5 arena or whatever. We hear you. We're looking at Blazblue Cross Tag Battle and seeing how that goes as a reference point on what decision we make. That makes it really iffy now. Because now you not only have, you know, if this fails, what's going to happen with Blazblue in the future, what's going to happen with Persona 4 Arena, or just Persona Arena in general? Are they just going to decide to make another Dancing All Night sequel instead if this fails? I don't know. Because that's always, it's very rare for a company to take the right message away from something negative that happens to them. And so often I've seen, like, a game do poorly, and the developers are just like, hey man, it's not our fault. We did our best. We tried super hard to make this a great game, and we think it's a great game. I guess it's just, you know, it's not right. The players just don't want it right now. And that, you know, so we'll just not give it to them anymore, because clearly the players don't want it. Rather than understanding that your game's not actually very good, and, you know, spending the time necessary to either make the game better or to make a better game later on down the road that doesn't have the same issues. So it's really iffy, but yeah, there's nothing good that's going to come from this. And so I shouldn't say that. There's nothing good that's going to come from this game being successful, I feel. Because it's really just going to send a message that Arc System Works can just keep pushing and pushing and pushing further and further and further to continue eking out every penny they can out of their properties with the minimal amount of effort involved to do so. And gamers are going to accept it. They're going to be okay with it. And that this is how it's going to, you know, be for the rest of the time. Because they're making a Blazblue mobile game. I don't know anything about it. I just saw basically a headline that says they've announced a new Blazblue mobile game. Here's a picture of the main character. Mobile games are cancerous to gaming. Like, that's really all there is to it. This whole microtransactions thing that is now prevalent in damn near every AAA game that exists began with mobile gaming. It has done so much. Oh god, it's just hurt gaming so hard. Everything that's happened. If you are a fan, if you want to be a fan of Destiny, but you hate how it's being treated, look to mobile gaming. That's where they got all these ideas from. If you wanted to love Star Wars Battlefront, because, I mean, it's Star Wars, why wouldn't you not? It's an iconic franchise. Everybody loves Star Wars. But you hate what it became? Mobile gaming. It all started with mobile goddamn gaming. And now Arc System Works is getting into that? You think their business practices are bad. Now if that winds up being successful, we're all fucked. If you're a fan of Arc System Works properties and that blows up, we are screwed. So, like I said, it sucks to come out and basically say, hey guys, I know you like Arc System Works. I've liked their properties in the past. I'm quite excited for Dragon Ball FighterZ. I want to see what they're going to do with Guilty Gear in the future. Don't support this. But you shouldn't. Oh. Alright. I've run out of things to say. Just please, let it die. Let it die a peaceful death. Buy Unist instead. Sit on it. It's coming out too near to Dragon Ball FighterZ for it to be successful, but that's okay. Just buy Unist, let it collect dust on your shelf, enjoy Dragon Ball FighterZ, play the hell out of it, and then when Blazblue Cross Tag Battle comes out, grab that copy of Unist and pretend it came out that day instead and get into it. That's my suggestion. That's what we should do. Support a good fighting game from developers that care about their game, that want to actually make a good game rather than make $1. And I'll love you for it.